everybody, welcome to the January 19th, 2024 edition of News from the Front Lines of Business by DW Huff Consulting. We're a CPA firm who aims to be more than just a CPA firm and help you plan to do better with your taxes and your finances and everything in your business life. So, maybe another week, plenty going on out there in the IRS world. In addition to the fact that January 31st is coming around the corner, so we know there's a lot going on with W-2s and 1099 forms and things like that. We also have filing season still going to be happening on the 29th, but this latest bill. So it's actually the first point in this slide here. This Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act. So this is something that's been getting some news coverage lately. Looks like it has a good chance of passing, and it has several, I guess it's bilateral approval so far. And these 6 categories are this is the summary of what's coming in on the official document. And just to, I guess, expand on a little bit more, there's a Democratic component here, this tax relief for working families, which is an expansion of the child tax credit. So right now it's currently sitting at $2,000 per child. There's talk of expanding that, similar to some previous years when it went up as high as $3,600. So that's in play. And then all these other things, these American innovation and growth and global competitiveness, those are related to various business provisions that the Republicans wanted. The research and development credits and accelerated depreciation, among other things, are in play there. And this bottom part 6, this is really, I guess, misleading here. Tax administration and limiting fraud. So what they're talking about there is ceasing the employee retention tax credit program. So we probably have heard about that quite a bit. We've definitely talked about it some. And if you owned a business back in 20 and 21 and you had certain criteria that affected the business due to government shutdowns or loss of revenue, there's this really lucrative credit out there that basically it's based on the number of employees you had and how much they were paid and some other limitations, but it's been widely abused. But it wasn't supposed to expire until, for the 2020 year, wasn't supposed to expire until this coming April. And then the 2021 year, April after that. Because of so much widespread just fraud and misapplication of rules and everything, I think the IRS has been overwhelmed with dealing with it, and they're pushing to shut it down even earlier than planned. So be careful of that, because that's still in play. It hasn't passed yet, but it's also tied to a government shutdown and some other things, so it has a pretty good chance of making it through. So keep an eye on it. And if you have an employee retention tax credit claim that you haven't filed yet, probably a good time to put that on the top of your list and get it submitted and prove you submitted it, so they can't try to keep you out of the program if you qualify. All right, so the next up here, some observations. So this is not really, I guess, specific to me, but RBI, this is a company, it's the parent company of Burger King, and they for a while now have been working on this marketing and remodeling overhaul. So they spent about $400 million. They're buying up some poorly performing franchises and doing a bunch of things, and I guess trying to get back competitive in the burger market. And I'm looking at this one thing here, is this reclaim the flame is the flame is the program here. But I don't know if every place I've been, at least in South Louisiana and Texas, where I've been recently, Burger King is always the worst of the fast food. So personally, I think the burger's okay. For fast food burger, it's fine. But you can't help but notice, at least everywhere I've been, McDonald's now has 2 lanes for their drive-through and people inside all hours of the day and night, and they can't move it out fast enough. Wendy's has the 1 line, but the line's always wrapped around the store, as is Popeyes. And anyone can think of, fast food seems to be really knocking it out the park right now. Burger King, nowhere close to that. Burger King has 1 line. They have cars pulled down in front waiting. Nobody in the lobby. and that's everywhere I've seen. So obviously they're missing out on the opportunity because there's plenty of people I think would get out of any of those other longer lines and go to Burger King if their service wasn't so atrocious and the product was, is kind of slipped a little bit too. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they can turn it around. I really hope they do because I'm always a fan of choices. And this thought if you're like me and you're frustrated with every Burger King trip you've had, you might see that and take some comfort in things possibly improving. All right, so tax planning, healthcare reimbursement arrangement, or HRA. So we talk about this a lot with our small business clients because it's a great way to increase the amount of money you pay your employees without incurring, um, the payroll taxes that go along with it, for one, and also the fact that this is a benefit that you can start and stop at any time, so you're not really locked into it, I guess. So we kind of like that. But what it is, it's basically it's a plan you adopt to company level, and you agree to pay some dollar amount, and it is capped based on whether you're single or family. Um, I think it's either for this year it's currently $5,100 for individual or a little bit over 10,000 for a family coverage, and so if you have one of those plans in place, that's the maximum you can reimburse. But so you can reimburse prescription medicine, premiums, all sorts of costs, and you can exclude certain employees too. So if you have some workers that are younger, who don't work 35 hours a week and that kind of thing, you can kind of exclude them in favor of your more regular employees and make it a pretty nice benefit there. So it's tax free when it's received by the employee. So we like that, and there's no employment taxes in your case, and we mentioned the flexibility of it too. And here's some things that can be paid. So your major medical, your long-term care, Medicare, Medigap. So they can even have insurance coverages at maybe a spouse's workplace or through some other plan, and you can still cover other parts like Medicare. We know Medicare has some add-on policies. A lot of people get some elective things for Medigap coverage and other things like that. You can use HRA to pay for those things. So somebody who's an older worker can now get some reimbursement for those other costs they may pay. Co-pays, deductibles, it comes in handy. Dental, vision, LASIK, and over-the-counter stuff. So a lot of medications that you'd be paying for out of pocket can be reimbursed through this plan. So really like it. I guess another thing, I guess a potential drawback though, is depending on what type of business you own determines whether or not you could personally benefit. So with a sole proprietorship, all you got to do is simply hire your spouse. So no big deal. Partnership, same difference as long as as long as your spouse is not a 5% owner. S corporations get a little bit more tricky because in the S corporation, your shares are deemed to be owned by your spouse as well. So if you are more than 2% shareholder, neither of you can participate. So it doesn't work very good in that type of entity. But the C corporation works just fine. So if the LLC taxes a C corporation, you hire yourself and you're eligible for the benefit just like all your other employees who meet the requirements. So we like that. And a lot of times it's easier to do than you think because if you have other companies that are active, sometimes you can set up an LLC, elect to have it taxed as a C corporation, and have that C corporation replace you as providing services for one of the other types of corporation. And you get two different entities out there in that scenario, but now you can take advantage of this benefit as well as some other benefits of the C corporation. So keep them in HRA, healthcare reimbursement arrangement. Reach out to us if you or think that might work for you, and we'll help you figure it out. Also, another podcast I saw recently, and it's talking about finances and I guess the importance of being a captain of your own ship. So, and this is one of the Mark Kohler podcasts to be exact. So if you want to check it out for yourself, but it's just a passing comment, but it just jumped out at me. And his thoughts, and I agree, that when you're managing your money, so managing your investments and your business and everything else, you can't be totally hands off, right? So, we find that people who are willing to get their hands kind of dirty, I guess, and be involved, always tend to outperform those who try to passively invest in something and just totally not pay attention to it. So that paying attention kind of counts. So yeah, so we don't mean you need to be managing every single aspect of it, but you do need to be involved in watching the numbers. So you don't need to drive the ship or be the captain of the ship. I mean, be the pilot of the ship, but you want to be the captain. So you want to be there, involved, watch what's going on, and not necessarily building the ship, driving the ship, or whatever. But that attention to things will um, greatly improve your financial results. So share that thought with you. All right, so that's it for this week. Closing thoughts. Something came across my emails here from the Daily Stoics, and they're talking about how each man. I guess you can't run from your problems. Is the underlying message here. So, um, so thus does each man flee himself. So basically, what this passage has to do with is, you leave, you go on a vacation, or you binge drink, you do something to escape your problems, but you always come back to the problems, right? So at the end of the day, whether you have more money and you think you're being wealthy is going to fix your problems, a lot of times you're going to have things that kind of are underlying issues that you got to deal with, and I guess you can never get away from them by material things or leaving on a vacation, coming back. I guess at the end of the day, you always got to kind of know yourself, um, fix yourself and deal with those things that pop up. So really like that thought here. Wherever you go, there you are, kind of thing. And um, and it brings to mind of I forget, some movie star had a suicide recently, and another movie star commented on it and basically said, I almost wish I was broke again, because when I was broke and didn't have any money, I thought that having success and having all the money I needed would fix everything, but it didn't. It just changed your problem, gave you more time to think about it, and probably made it worse. So I don't know, more thoughts here. So take care of yourself, and deal with whatever issues you have head on. So with that, enjoy the break in the cold weather here, and have a great weekend, and we'll see you out here next week.